Welcome to the Guardian News Hour here on College Radio Day with WWSU 106.9. We are the White State Guardian, the campus's premier news source. I am the editor-in-chief, Jamie Naylor. Here with me in the studio, I have our managing editor, Alexis Lewis, and our Right Life editor, Emily Mancuso. Good evening, ladies. How are you?
I am good. I'm doing well. I'm here. It's been a week. It's been a day for the radio station, but we're here. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm very good. How are you?
Very good. I'm very excited. One of our sports writers, Adam Campbell, might join us here momentarily. But a little rundown of how this show will work this evening. We are going to start off with some more serious news this evening. And then our second half, as the night goes on, will be a little bit more fun, a little bit more lighthearted. Adam and Alexis will be talking about sports. We'll be talking about some weird news, some campus news, and all that jazz. Getting started with the more serious segment here, we're going to go into a rundown of some major global events that are occurring. Our top story tonight is the protests continue in Iran over the death of a woman who was arrested and in the custody of morality police in the nation when she passed away. And that incident sparked protests all throughout Iran, and those protests continue. And the U.S. has denounced the nation's authorities for how they are treating protesters currently in that sector. Alexis, do you have anything to add on that topic?
Yeah. So I mean, the protests continue to rapidly grow, right? Despite a lot of the crackdowns from different Iranian, you know, offices, and recently there was a death of a 16-year-old protester, just today. So the morality police, according to a lot of Iranian sources, are known for being kind of arbitrary with some standards and punishing certain groups of people. So I think that we're kind of seeing that in the protests today.
Mm-hmm. What I thought was really crazy, I'm not too sure if you guys saw this or not, but there was a Swedish lawmaker who actually cut her hair in protest during a meeting of leaders and in support of the protesters, because a lot of the protesters are burning the hijabs and cutting their hair in kind of in retaliation to some of Iran's morality standards and social standards, and we're really seeing to start it grow as more a social issue, and they're really now just protesting a wealth of things. And I know I'm looking at the U.S. Security Department of State right now, and their statement on how they support the protesters and are trying to give resources to the nation to support access to internet and the because Iranian officials are trying to, cut kind of access to internet and social media. So I think this story will be definitely interesting to see how it develops and where it goes with this situation, and how it will affect surrounding nations in the Middle East and foreign policy overall.
Yeah, for sure, because a lot of these, like you mentioned too, a lot of people across the world, right, are kind of standing up in solidarity for these people, especially women, cutting their hair, burning, some of their head coverings, and we're seeing a lot of crackdown on these. 66 people were killed in one of the protests at a school, and people continue to still protest.
Yeah. Alrighty, our next global topic, which I know Dr. Liam Anderson, who is a political science professor here at Wright State, was on a little bit earlier today talking about this. It's about the Russia-Ukraine war and the situation that is ongoing in that area. Um, recently, for those who don't know, Russia attempted and was semi-successful in annexing areas of Ukraine that are on the Russia-Ukraine border. And President Joseph Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris recently had a phone call with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky um, on the October 4th, actually, and was saying how they will continue to support Ukraine. And the U.S. is sending another $625 million security assistance package that includes additional weapons and equipment, including artillery systems, ammunition, and the like. And I'm reading the official press release on this. So I just think it's interesting how we continue to see this conflict, since it has been going on since February of this year. And it's just very interesting as people continue to be displaced by the conflict and how politicians and world leaders try and want to find a solution to this ongoing conflict. I was also reading how a lot of Ukrainians are concerned with the coming winter because, Ukraine and Russia are very cold places.
Right.
And so it's going to be interesting how global organizations like the United Nations and the like, and some of the support services who are supporting Ukraine will go about supporting them throughout the colder months, and how, this will continue.
Yeah, I mean, like wartime has some pretty infamous events that happen like in winter. So that will be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. But like the Biden administration has been talking about like the UN General Assembly is going to be meeting soon. I think they're going to be meeting on Monday to talk about like what are we going to do about A, the war, and B, Russia, right? Like, the European Union has talked about sending like these like 52 caliber like howitzer style things, right?
Mhm.
And those are those are kind of insane. I mean, those are like those are crazy. Like if you like look up pictures or like in general just like military armor and stuff, I mean it's insane. Like they're like the French ones, like the Caesar ones, like this huge, it's like a cannon, right? And they like fire these huge shells, and it's just so scary because you think about all of the people that are impacted by this too. And earlier today, in the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhia, 7 people were killed from a missile strike from Russia. And in the like emergency UN session next week, some U.S. officials have said that the U.S. officials have said that they will be basically kind of monitoring who is going to be siding with Russia, I guess. And yeah, like the clash has gone on for so long, so I think a lot of people also are questioning what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like speaking of this whole, there's definitely, I feel like there's been a crackdown in like the global context. Everybody's taken the Russia-Ukraine war seriously, I think. But going down to the more local level, like Wright State University, we're right by the Air Force Base, and you wouldn't think, hey, we don't have, even though it's an Air Force Base, we don't have much to do with the war or anything. But you'd be surprised about how much the base is involved, actually, because there's a National Air and Space Intelligence Center there, and they have like certain departments within that, and one works on like assessing Putin's mental state. And
Wow.
stuff like that. And so even just locally in our area, there are people influencing this. So
Yeah.
I know it was also really interesting in the spring when the war broke out. I interviewed with a White State alum who is Ukrainian and who him and his family were actually in Ukraine. I'm not too sure if they're in Ukraine anymore. They might have fled. And you know, as you know, he's a White State alum, and he's just talking about the conditions and how like bombs were like constantly going off, and like he was in a shelter, um, and with his family just because of the conditions, and that was like in the spring, so that was at the beginning of the war. So it'd be really interesting to see like where he is now, and where are the Ukrainian people now, because I know a lot have also like fled. Ukraine. I'm trying to pull up the United Nations actually has a fact fact sheet. Whew, getting through that word. A fact sheet about how many people like have been displaced and how many people, you know, kind of, how many people have been impacted by this. Yeah, let me see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, because I think a lot of times some of the discourse can get muffled when it's not like in your backyard,
Mm-hmm.
or you don't hear as much about it when it's not something that's happening either in your city, your state, your country.
yeah, and we think that like in because it's so in a way far away
Right.
that it
But
doesn't affect us. But actually Russia is like we see the map that we usually see and we see, oh, Russia's on the other side of the world. No, we are next door neighbors to
Yeah.
Russia if you look at a globe basically. And even so, okay, you think, oh, it's a other country decently far away from us. But at the same time, like I mentioned before, there's literally probably neighbors, friends, family that probably working at the base that are directly involved in this. And so it's much more personal than you would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was able to pull up this fact sheet. It's called the UN and the War in Ukraine Key Information. And I know earlier we were talking about winter and how they are going to prep for winter. And they are actually, so the United Nations has an aim and a goal to provide assistance to 1.7 million people before the 2022-2023 winter season. Um, and over 580 humanitarian partners have provided life critical aid and protection to services to 13.3 million people, which is like insane. On August 22nd, nearly 6 months since the Russian invasion of Ukraine began, UNICEF has verified that at least 972 children have been killed or injured by the violence. And then it just like goes on about casualties and how many people have fled, and just kind of more than 7 million people have fled Ukraine, and nearly 7 million Ukrainians are internally displaced. So it'd also be really interesting to see if they would have these numbers for like Russian citizens, because I know like, some at the beginning of the war, some Russians were trying to speak out against it and like also trying to flee. So I definitely think this will be interesting on like how this develops, and like how how world nations, continue to deal with this situation. Any
Right.
final thoughts or comments on this?
Kind of basically covered it.
Yeah.
I think
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot. I mean, as one would imagine, it's an ongoing kind of thing. So I think we hit everything pretty well for now.
Yeah. Alrighty. I think we covered the big global events, pretty on the nose for this evening. Let's talk about some national news. Unfortunately, this first topic really isn't much happier than the ones that we have been talking about. Like I said, the fun stuff, well, it's coming soon.
We got you
Stay
for the fun.
tuned. I promise it will get lighter. But the first national topic I kind of wanted to discuss is the recovery in Florida from Hurricane Ian, and how they are still dealing with that and still recovering, people. I know the White House, Biden and I'm not too sure of Harris, but I know Biden was in Florida and he gave a talk there with Governor DeSantis and Florida Governor Bob DeSantis and Senator Rubio, and just talking about the recovery efforts and the emergency order that he placed for federal assets, including food, water, and generators in Florida and other states that were affected by the hurricane. So, see, like so this is from the press release, the Biden administration press release. And I think this number is like kind of crazy. So apparently the search and rescue teams have knocked on nearly 70,000 doors and rescued over 3,800 people. In Lee County alone, the search and rescue teams examined 24,000 structures in the county, making sure that everyone was like trapped and accounted for. So
Yeah.
That's pretty insane. Like that's pretty remarkable, I think, because like I don't know, for me, personally speaking, I don't mess with weather.
I remember seeing this like social media post online of this woman during Hurricane Ian. She was like in the middle of her living room, and like the floodwaters were pretty much like 3/4 of the way up, and she was just floating there in this mini inflatable pool in the middle of her living room
my
while
gosh.
the storm was still going down outside.
Oh my gosh.
So it's just like it's really shocking to see.
Yeah, no. And like on here, this is let me find this here. So it says like $90 million in aid has been provided for Florida, and I just think that that's like insane. And like I don't know, just speaking of weather in general, like I said, I don't mess with it, especially wind. But like federal disaster assistance has really come through for like survivors, and you kind of mentioned too like the water and like being in a pool of water in your own home. Like a majority of the death toll is in the triple digits at
And
this point.
this
and
isn't clean water. This is disgusting water. It's gonna give you infections, and
Yeah.
there's gonna be so many people, especially people with disabilities of the disabled community. And like I remember seeing some of the aftermath photos of Hurricane Katrina, and there was this one photo that really stuck with me. It was this man who unfortunately passed away, and he was in his front yard, still in his wheelchair, and couldn't get away because of his disability. And that just really stuck with me. So we always think of the greater general context, but there's so many people, like people think, oh, why don't they just evacuate? A lot of people, it's not that easy.
Mm-hmm. And I think, people are starting to look at some of these climate events and kind of start the discussion around, climate change, because, even thinking back to this past summer and how Europe had that crazy heat wave, and like half of France was like on fire at one point in the mountainous regions.
Right.
And, we're starting to see, politicians and scientists talk even more about climate change and the impact it's having on our Earth. One of my favorite resources that I use to do research on that is Climate Central. This is a nonprofit research-based organization made up of scientists and journalists and other information specialists who research climate change and temperatures and basically everything, weather and whatnot. I actually got introduced to this organization at the Midterm Essentials Pointer Conference that I attended in Columbus this past summer, and I just think they have a lot of great resources and a lot of great information to just really look at things objectively and look at, how the temperature rise and how things like greenhouse gases and the and the like melting ice caps, are affecting, weather and just, yeah, I just think, people are starting to realize that, hey, we're having a lot of issues with natural disasters and, can we have a larger conversation about the climate and about our natural resources and about the weather? So I think that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, I have some data here from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, and in one of their most recent assessments, they found that um, this specific hurricane, Hurricane Ian, had 10% more rainfall than it would have had like we not been dealing with issues from climate change. And they find that these like tropical cyclones and these tropical storms are reaching much more intense and you know rapid intensification so quickly.
Yeah.
They get so bad so quickly, and um this panel on climate change, has found too that they're reaching category 4, category 5 storms that reach landfall, right? Like you can have stuff that's, some pretty strong stuff that never reaches land, but now it's starting to reach land. Um
Yeah, and additionally, of course, one of the effects of climate change is, of course, those stronger, more devastating storms that you do reach land. But I feel like there's also a lot of misinformation out there. Like what
mm,
you said is true, but I remember some people being like, "We've had some really cold winters lately, so therefore climate change isn't real." Um, Climate change causes a lot of colder weather.
mm,
Generally, our winters are getting warmer, but a lot of horrific winter storms, and connecting that back to Russia and Ukraine, it'd probably be even a worse winter for
mhm.
them. And it's causing those intense winters, those intense winter storms, along with what you said.
Yeah, and when you see like, kind of like you're mentioning, well, winter is really cold and summer is really hot, and fall is really pretty cool. Um
It's like we have seasons. Ooh.
right? But like that intensity is, and when you wake up in the morning and it's 30 degrees and then by sunset it's 75, that's a little,
Hmm.
how am I supposed to plan my outfits
Yeah.
when I wake up and it's 30 degrees and then by the time I have my sweater on, I'm sweating walking from class because it's 75.
Yeah, I'll like
Yeah.
put a certain outfit on, and then I'll be walking to class and be like, I'm too hot.
Yeah.
Right? You have to like take into consideration the climate change as you're planning your outfit for the day.
Yeah. And like Emily, as you were saying, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and there are, people who are even like climate deniers. And at the conference that I went to, one of the first things they said, they were like, climate change is real, and don't be afraid to, say that in your publication and to report that as a journalist. So I even think us, like as media professionals, we really need to consider and make sure that we are putting out factual information on this matter and consulting with experts and giving voice to all different sides, because I definitely think that the more people are informed, I mean, this goes for really everything, more that people are informed, the more I think it would like help benefit that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this is going to be definitely, again, like as all these topics, it's going to be really interesting to see how, government officials, how scientists, how even people like us, continue having these conversations. And it's also going to be interesting to see how the weather goes on, as we start to see some of these issues get more progressively worse.
Yeah, and like for updates about these kind of things, for further updates, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration is a great source.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
U.S. National Hurricane Center.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
there's a
just
whole
the National Weather Service.
the national, just like keeping up to date with those like really credible
Credible
sources.
orgs. Yeah.
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 And even just the National Weather's, not what I said, the National
National Weather Service. We
National
love
Weather
the National Weather Service. Yeah.
and it's very good for like, I don't know how I should treat my car in the winter. I don't know how to stay safe during the summer. They have a lot of good resources. And I remember doing an article being like, this is how, like, winter safety tips. Like, you should probably pop your, if you park outside, even if you park in a garage, make sure to open your hood to make sure there's no animals inside to think that your car engine is warm. Like, that kind of stuff. It's like just little tips that, like, I think will make seasonal changes a lot better.
Yeah.
for sure.
And since we're talking about the weather, I actually pulled up the National Weather Service. If you are interested in a weather update for Dayton, Ohio, this is out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, KFFO, from the National Weather Service. It is currently partly cloudy at 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. The humidity is 56%, wind speed at north at 5 miles per hour. The wind chill is 48 degrees Fahrenheit, and there currently is a freeze warning until Saturday morning at 10 a.m. As the lows tonight are going to get down to 31 degrees Fahrenheit. Tomorrow, the high will be... Hold on, I have to scroll down.
Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please. I had a rhythm there, guys.
You really did. You got
I
into
really
your
did.
newscast. Like, you got into your radio voice there.
Yeah, I got into my radio voice, and then I lost it.
Meteorologist Jamie here.
Meteorologist.
Because I actually, okay. I actually don't know what the weather is going to be tomorrow. Hold on. I'm going to go onto a different screen. I was so into it.
Tomorrow isn't promised, so.
Yeah.
They're like,
Okay,
live your
tomorrow
life for
the
now.
high is going to be 57 degrees and a low of 35 degrees. And Sunday, the high is going to be 64 degrees and a low of 41 degrees. Sunny both days with very little chance of rain. So it will be a cool weekend, but a dry weekend, and I will take it. I will take
Not
it.
bad, not
I am
bad.
here for the fall vibes.
I am so here for the fall vibes. And the leaves are changing on campus, and it is absolutely beautiful.
Do you want to know
Um,
something? Literally, I can't stop taking pictures of the leaves on campus. And I don't
Right?
care. Like,
Right?
I'm in that, like, Visco
Yeah.
girl fall leaves era right now. That's my
yeah.
era.
Like, people don't think Ohio is, like, beautiful and whatnot, but, like, Ohio in the fall, y'all, it's something else. And if you go out into, like, the boonies, like the cornfield
Oh my
type
gosh.
things, it gets even prettier, and you can just see all different types of leaves. And, like, even, like, the corn stalks, like, they start changing colors, which that's super weird. But again, it's Ohio. So,
Yeah,
we love.
one of the things I really enjoy about the Wright State campus, sure, we don't have like the super old buildings that maybe Ohio State has, or it's not like, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But like, we'll have actual nature.
Yes.
And
Right?
like, the closest thing that I think Ohio State has to nature is a plastic bags floating down the sidewalk.
Oh, bon.
Ow.
But don't worry, Ohio State. Your buildings are very nice. They have an 11-floor library. I'm
That's
very jealous.
insane.
Okay,
I would
anyway.
not want to walk up those stairs. Also, for those of you who don't know, we have hiking trails and like a whole forest right here on our campus. And I know campus recreation, they actually like go out and take groups of students and people out into our hiking trails, and like they're open all the time. So if you want to enjoy a nice fall walk this weekend, get out on our campus hiking trails. You know, I personally have never been on them. I normally go to John Bryant State Park in Yellow Springs, but I
can
heard that they
elaborate
were
on it.
yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah, so I heard they're really good. So if you're looking for a nice fall walk, you know, like I said, Yellow Springs has a lot of parks. There's a lot of good parks in Ohio, and if you're just looking to stay on campus, White State hiking trails.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a little
Yeah,
off topic
yeah.
talking about fall and
Yeah.
weather there.
on the hiking trails,
Yeah.
sorry, just to add one more thing, they're absolutely gorgeous hiking trails. I went on it for. They had this like organized thing for family weekend where you could go, and one of the things is they have this like I forget what it's called, but I'll just call it a bird box for now. But there's
Bird
like
box. Oh no.
they have this thing no where you go in and it's like it like hides you from the birds so you can do bird watching.
Ooh.
And then-
Wait, I like that kind of bird box.
And that kind of bird box is good. And then you go down and they have actually a small cemetery by the hiking trails of the people that used to live where Wright State University is now.
That
So
is
these, like,
fun.
That's
old
fascinating.
And then right next to it is where all the cadavers are buried from the medical school.
Oh my god, wait. So you can have like a spooky fun time. Like this is turning into
Ooh.
a Halloween moment.
Ooh,
Like
Halloween moment.
Halloween vibes. Okay, anyway, sorry. I'm ready to go to the next.
Okay.
And there's also deer that just wander around on campus, which is
I
super
love
great.
it. There's actually a White State deer like Instagram account, and they
Yes,
just
I
take
love that.
they go around and take pictures of all the deer on campus. It's amazing. You can follow them on Instagram. Love the White State deer account. Literally gives me so much serotonin in the morning, especially like after I'm like doing research for like some of these heavy news topics. Like I'll be like reading about war, and then I get a notification from the White State deer account, and it's just this
Deer.
cute little baby deer, and I'm just like sobbing
I need to do a
in my
Right Life
office.
article on that.
Anywho,
What's next?
so our last national topic that we have on the list here, Alexis, I believe you have a little bit more information about this, but the United States Supreme Court resumed this past week. They have a couple very interesting cases on the docket, some about affirmative action, and the like. Like I said, Alexis, I believe you have more information on this.
Yeah, so the main court case that I have found a lot of pretty good research on is one that was like directed to the lower courts. It was earlier this year, but it's the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin, I think is how you pronounce it. It's kind of an infamous one out of Manhattan. Justice Clarence Thomas's majority, the majority opinion held that New York could require license applicants to show that they didn't. It wasn't required that to show a heightened need for a self-defense different from like the community basically. It was a 6-3 ruling, like I said earlier, from this year, and basically it says that people don't need to demonstrate a quote proper cause end quote to obtain a concealed handgun permit. So that was kind of the most compelling one, I will say.
That is definitely interesting. And I know a lot of states, including Ohio, are starting to evaluate like the gun laws and, just start talking about that. So that's going to be a really interesting case to follow. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one goes. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're all good. That was like the main one that I have like my information about. And it was like from earlier this year, but it's like it was directed back to the lower court to reconsider, right? But now like it is the biggest topic in media, which I mean is not surprising considering that it's a gun law and a gun like restriction law, and like how to obtain guns basically. So I guess that part isn't as surprising as I made it sound earlier, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Ohio concealed carry reciprocity map and gun laws, actually, and some of these facts from this organization is pretty interesting. There's 784,000 licenses issued this year.
This year? That's pretty interesting.
The state population is 11.7 million.
11.7 million, huh? That's a lot more people than I thought. I wonder what the population of Ohio is. Like, hold on.
That's according to the Ohio concealed carry reciprocity map and gun laws from the state of Ohio. I'm on it's a little interactive map, and I have correctly clicked on Ohio.
So the population of Ohio is 11.80 million in 2020, according to the Census Bureau. So, and you said how many like license were there again?
784,000.
784,000. Wow. Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
It's so the summary, to kind of give some background here, it provides a summary of Ohio gun laws, and I'll read the first two sentences, and they read, first three sentences, I'll extend it. Ohio is a shall issue state with concealed weapons licenses issued at the county level by a county sheriff. There is no permit, background check, or firearms registration required when buying a handgun from a private individual. Open carry and concealed carry are legal without a permit.
Hmm. That's
So,
interesting. Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting case to follow because, if this is something, that New York is questioning and dealing with, other states might start, following suit. So it's definitely going to be an interesting case to follow as we
yeah.
go forward.
And kind of like to compare, since that case was out of New York, um, like we said, so in Ohio, state population is 11.7, 11.8 million people, and 784,000 licenses were issued. In New York, in the state of New York, 194,000 licenses have been issued. Out of, according to, this is the, like from the state, this is from like the state of New York. Currently, that state population is 19.4 million.
Wow.
They're giving out licenses like Halloween candy.
So, but like 100, like that's a big difference. 194,000 licenses
Well,
versus
also,
784.
I feel like we're in the Midwest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, I don't know.
Let's see California.
Let's see California. That'd be
So-
interesting. Like, let's get like an East Coast, a Midwest,
know-
and like a West Coast.
Okay.
experience.
We'll do California and then we'll do Texas.
Oh, I want to definitely see Texas.
So California's state population is 39.9 million and there's been 121,000 license issued.
100. That's actually that's a pretty small number
Wait
considering.
until you hear Texas.
Okay, I would definitely want to hear Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Isn't that what they say?
Everything is bigger in Texas. So in Texas, their state population is 29.4 million.
Okay, 29.
And they have issued 1.7 million licenses.
Oh my goodness! It's in the millions.
Yep.
It's in the millions. What? That's.
Wait, let me check Florida.
That's
Florida. Okay, Florida. Here's another
a
stunner.
lot.
So
Okay.
Florida probably isn't a stunner actually.
That's
Florida's state population is 22 million, and they have issued 2.3 million licenses.
2.3 million.
Jeez.
Well, some of those probably got washed away in the hurricane. I'm not gonna lie, but
Dang.
that's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot.
I think that's I'm trying to go through each state on this like map, and I'm trying to think of like the ones that would be the most, and I don't see any more than that.
It would be really interesting to ask like those people who have those license like in those states like why they have them. Because it's like I'm really curious, like why do you like what is like people's reasoning for having a gun, in Texas, in California, in New York, in Florida? Like it would be really interesting to like talk to people from those states who have those licenses. Be like, what are you using it for? Do you just have it in a closet somewhere for just in case? Do you carry it in a purse? Like it would just be really interesting to go like through
Yeah.
people's like reasonings. And also like throughout like the different regions because like someone's reason in New York might be completely different from someone's reason in Texas. And I don't know, I just feel like it would be a really interesting like survey to do.
Yeah, and
of, like,
also
just,
like
like,
the
different
location. Also, yeah, like you said, I think matters a lot. Like I think like Texas and Florida, they both have very high numbers, but I think there's a much larger. At least to me, I assume there's a much larger hunting population in Florida than there is, say, in Texas.
What are you hunting in Florida?
I don't know, some nasty alligators, but
I
I
can hunt them gators.
The gators?
but I would assume there's a bigger hunting population in Florida, but I am not completely sure about that. But
interesting.
it seems like it's more of a rural area than say
Yeah.
Texas. I think.
Texas.
Who knows?
That would be interesting. It also would be really interesting to like look at like crime rates and like
Yeah.
shooting rates in all those states as well. I don't know, it'd just be really interesting to compare all those.
And then
Pull the
here's
crime log.
so thinking like crime rate, right?
Mhm.
The first thing that I think of is Chicago.
Mhm.
So Illinois,
Mhm.
it's not that the number's not that insane. 12.7 million state population with 435,000 licenses.
That's The population is higher than Ohio, but the licenses is lower than Ohio.
Yeah. So,
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
But I know Ohio is a stand your ground state now.
Mhm.
So, you know,
Also, like I said, I feel like there's people who hunt in Ohio.
Yes.
we got some hunters in Ohio.
We do.
Some farmers in Ohio like to hunt.
You should see my uncle's house.
Oh, dang.
He has
Dang.
the deer heads on the walls.
Oh, the scary deer
Called
head.
out.
If you're listening,
out.
sorry, Emily's uncle.
Hi, Emily's uncle.
Sorry.
Alrighty. Well, the last national topic I wanted to talk about before we get things a little bit more lighthearted in here, we're going to start that segment now. This past week was Yom Kippur, which is a Jewish holiday that Jewish communities all around the world celebrate. It's one of the most important religious holidays to them. So, to any of our listeners who are in those communities and celebrate that holiday, I hope it went well for you.
Yes.
Yeah. National Coming Out Day is coming up on the 11th of October. It is also still Hispanic Heritage Month. I'm trying to think if there's any communities or populations that I missed.
I mean, I will be covering Coming Out Day for the WSU Guardian. So,
So excited.
so if you want to tune in for that.
So on October 10th is the United States Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's next week, right? Yeah.
That is next week.
Yep, October 10th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's about it.
And as always, we have Cultural Corner and White Life sections on our WSU Guardian pages. So if you want to hear more about clubs, organizations, events going on campus, and different cultural communities here on campus, you can check those out on our website. Along with, we always have a news roundup. So if you liked hearing about some of the world issues, some of the national issues that we were just talking about, you can read that physically in our weekly news roundup that goes out every Monday, along with our weather forecast that also goes out on Mondays. We have an Events of the Week article that goes out on Mondays. So a lot of the things that we have been talking about, you will see coming to or already are on the White State Guardian pages. A little shameless plug before we move on to fun news. We're also promoting Nexus Literary Magazine and Journal, which we added back to our publication and to our media group this fall with the theme of paradox. We are now accepting submissions. It is an all digital journal that is open to Wright State students, staff, faculty, and alumni. Again, as I said, the theme is paradox. You can submit poems, short stories, and the like at nexus.wsuguardian.com. Little shameless plug there. We also do have the Way to Report podcast that is, I almost said filmed. Recorded right here in the WWSU studio. So thank you so much for that. And so we got a lot going on over at the Guardian. So definitely read our content and
give us suggestions.
Give us suggestions. Let us know what you like hearing about. If there's a topic that we talked about, especially in the more serious news topics that you really liked, or if there's a topic around campus that you're really interested in or that you have concerns about, definitely shoot us a message on our socials at WSU Guardian. Shoot us a DM. Shoot me an email at guardian1@right.edu. Come find us. Come to our office. We would love to talk to you.
Yes.
Alrighty. Now moving into the fun part of our show, I'm gonna kick it over here to. I was just informed that it is time for a break. So thank you for listening to the first half of the show. We will be back shortly for the second half of our show. Thank you so much. You're listening to WWSU 106.9, Fairborn Dayton, Dayton's Vice Choice. Thank you.
Hey, hon, what you doing with your phone?
Do flowers have best friends?
Welcome back to WWSU 106.9 Fairborn Dayton, Dayton's right choice. This is the Guardian News Show here on College Radio Day. Previously, we were talking about serious news, but now we are in our fun half of our show. Our first fun topic that we are going to go to is sports with Adam Campbell and Alexis Lewis. You guys can take it on over.
Hello.
What up, Alexis?
How is it going?
It's going now.
It's going.
We've been talking about this for a minute.
I know. I'm very excited. I gotta give a shout out to my parents real quick. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
Hi, Mom.
Aww.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Jordan in Phoenix. And yeah, I've got my Tony Kornheiser belt on. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk some sports here.
I knew you meant business when I saw that ESPN sticker on the back of your computer screen.
Oh, yes, I have. Yes, she's an old faithful.
She's ready to go.
She's ready to go.
So, Alexis, what are you leading us off with?
So I'll lead us off with actually something different than I was initially planning. We're going to talk baseball first.
Glorious.
We're first going to talk about Aaron Judge. That man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Judge.
All rise.
All rise. He has hit his 62nd home run against the Rangers the other day, passing Roger Maris for the single-season home run record by an American leaguer. That stood for 61 years also.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody has seen any single-season home run performance like this since Barry Bonds. And
I was about to say,
obviously, everybody knows
debate.
the controversy behind his performance with steroids and whatnot. Judge is as clean as can be. So, you know, as a fan of the game, I may not like the Yankees, all their greedy money, but
Ouch.
I love seeing good talent, and Aaron Judge is one of the finest to do it. So it's been a fun, exciting season for him.
Yeah, and I mean 62. That's no small feat. I mean, we know, like Barry Bonds, his record's 73, but like you mentioned, that's a contested.
Asterisk.
Yes, there's an asterisk. But can we talk about the ball, the home run ball?
Yeah.
That has its own story.
So the fan who caught it was offered $2 million for the ball.
2 million.
2 million?
Yeah.
$2 million, Jamie, for one baseball.
That is insane. That's probably the most expensive baseball out there.
No, yeah, yeah.
One of. And I'm not positive, but I think the offer still has yet to be taken.
It's like the offer stands,
Yep.
but it's not
It's
like there's
not been
nothing
taken.
official. Let me clarify. No, because as of this morning, yeah, that home run ball had a $2 million offer. But it was a secret, right? Like the person who caught it was like, I'm not going to disclose my plans for this, which I thought was so funny, right? Because like if that were me,
I was gonna ask, like, if that were you guys, you taking it, or like you keeping that ball?
Okay, here's the thing. You can always sell in the future, but like to have that piece of history is pretty remarkable. I think I would keep it at least for a little bit, and then if I'm hard on some cash, you can get some 2 million in that pocket.
So a little side stat here. I looked up most expensive baseballs, and the number one most expensive baseball was $700,000. It was a home run signed by Babe Ruth. So that's a huge difference.
That is.
But in terms of what I would do with the ball, I honestly think I would want to give it back to him, right? Because like
That's true.
he works so hard to accomplish that feat, and you don't want to take away his reward for doing such. So I would do some negotiating.
Oh, okay.
I would ask
That's
for
smart.
3 things. All right.
Oh,
Three things I want. I've definitely thought this through.
yeah,
many
we
times
have some
before.
demands.
So first, I want to be the person to give him the ball.
Okay.
If I caught it, I want to have the experience of giving it to him.
Okay.
Second, I want either a signed bat or a signed jersey. All right. I don't want a
Okay.
signed ball. I mean, it's just a ball. I want a jersey or a bat, preferably game used if that's possible. And then third and final, I would want. It depends. If it's the Reds, for instance, I would want season tickets for the next season. But for the Yankees, I would want a ticket to every single playoff game that they hosted in that season.
Okay, but do you think that they would give that to you?
For sure. 100%. If they care about Aaron Judge and want
For
to keep
one
him on the
ball.
team. Yeah, for one
I
ball.
mean, they're offering $2 million, and those items are probably not worth $2 million. So that would, I think they would do it. Like, I don't know.
Hey, I mean,
the guy who caught the record tying one, he just gave it back.
yeah, and like I know a lot of players too, or not the players that actually hit that like record, but their teammates are like, hey, give that back.
Yeah.
And Aaron Judge, he's cool as a cucumber.
Oh, he's great. I mean, the same thing happened with Pujols the other day. Pujols hit 700, 701, 702, and when he hit the 700th, a Dodgers fan caught the ball. So he wasn't even a Cardinals fan; he was a Dodgers fan, and opted to keep it. Did not want to sell it. Made it very clear that he will never sell it, and that it's his ball, and that it's a memory to him. And Pujols literally went to the media and said, like, you know what, we hit the balls in the stands for a reason, for the fans to get a souvenir. And at this point, like, the ball is no longer in my possession, and I hope the person who has it enjoys it. Like, he took it, he handled it like such a pro.
Yeah. Well, he is a pro.
He's great.
He's an icon. I just found this stat about Aaron Judge that I think that you will find pretty interesting, actually. So, in his first 13 games, he hit 1 home run. And then...
Just this season or in
this
his career?
season.
Okay.
And then this season, he was projected to have 40.9 home runs.
Took off.
He absolutely took off.
Have
You're
you
so
ever...
right.
You should, if you ever get the opportunity, you should go see him play.
Have you?
Yeah, I took my mom to New York, not this past summer, but the summer before.
Oh my gosh.
And we went. Oh, it's so cool! Like when he comes up, they literally have like the judge, and just says "All rise." Everybody stands up, and
Oh my
I'll tell you
gosh.
what, that guy is so tall. I mean, he is. above
What, 6'7"?
I want to say like
6'7"?
6'8" or 6'9". Here, hold on.
Aaron Judge height. He's a large specimen.
6'7", 282. Big old boy.
But he carries that. He doesn't look that. He looks tall.
Yeah.
But that's almost 300 pounds.
Yeah, a beast.
Insane.
He's got tree stumps for legs. That's what it is.
That's okay. I'm not going to be able to unsee that now.
Speaking of baseball, the playoffs started today.
Yes. Got some
And
wild card games.
As Reds fans, it's just
It hurts.
excruciating.
It's so they finished with a 62-100 record.
Yep.
Win-loss record.
Second time finishing with 100 losses in 1 year.
The number 1 teams in the NL East basically have that same exact record switched.
It's terrible. And the Reds have, I mean, this season they had the worst attendance for any season that this stadium that they currently play in has ever seen. I think the lowest attendance also since the mid 80s.
I wonder if any other, like, obviously not Yankees, obviously not Dodgers, obviously not Angels, like not those like big heavy market teams, right? Like they probably don't have those kind of same issues, but I wonder if like the Pirates, do they have that problem? Like the Pirates, because like they had the same record as the Reds.
Sure. The difference with the Pirates is they have one of the prettiest stadiums
Yeah,
in the league.
I was
PNC
gonna
Park is-
say, like, there's a team name called the Pirates.
Yes.
Excuse me.
I
I'm not a sports person, so this is all news to me. This is very fascinating. But when
Jamie-
you said that, my mind was blown. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but
No.
my mind is blown with
Chip in.
that.
Look up PNC Park on your phone and tell me what you think of
PNC
these
Park.
views. Yep, PNC
Okay.
Park. It's beautiful.
Googling.
Beautiful. Top 3
Yep.
stadium I've ever been to. Ever will go to, probably.
Yeah.
Very, very fun stadium. And
But-
the fans are actually kind of nice. Like, it's weird. I
Oh really?
grew up hating Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, right?
Steelers, Pirates, all of them. But I've been there now twice, and it is so much fun.
It infuriates me how like all their sports teams are yellow and black. I don't know why. I have like a personal vendetta against that.
It's kind of like,
I mean, it's iconic, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see yellow and black, you're like, Pittsburgh.
and
It's right on the water. That's beautiful.
beautiful. It's a beautiful stadium.
So people aren't going for the team; they're going for the view.
Sure. Oh yeah, 100%. They used to go for the team, but
Yeah.
not anymore at all. So yeah, the playoff slate started today. The Guardians up in Cleveland took down the Rays in Game 1. I
Oh,
think
really?
Jose Ramirez hit a 2-run home run in the 7th inning to give them the lead. So again, painful for a Reds fan seeing the other Ohio team, make
Right.
it and win. That game was followed up with the Phillies and the Cardinals.
Mm.
Now, this one was interesting because the Cardinals had a 2-0 lead after the 8th inning.
Oh,
And
ouch. And
in-
I'm seeing the
in-
score.
In the playoffs, they were 93-0 all time when leading by 2 runs after the 8th inning, and they blew it. They lost 6-3 to the Phillies. So I mean, we kind of like seeing that because we don't like
Yeah.
the Cardinals. But then this is probably the worst one. The Mariners took on the Blue Jays. All right.
Are you not a Mariners fan?
Oh, I am.
Okay.
But I mean, only because they stole over our players. I mean, Luis Castillo was the
Okay.
starting pitcher tonight. He threw 7 1/3 innings, only gave up 6 hits, and did not give up a single run. So
Wow.
the Reds
Ouch.
are missing that. Eugenio Suarez,
Yep.
he had 2 RBIs and he scored a run, so he's responsible for 3 of their 4 runs.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot of former impactful Reds players really put on display what they should have been doing here on the southern banks of the Ohio River. But
Yeah. Just can't keep them. Don't have enough money.
we'll just have to keep waiting. We've got a really good farm league now, though.
Yeah.
We've got such good prospects, and I think if they're gonna do a rebuild, they did it right this year. But their biggest problem in the past is they'll commit to a rebuild and then they'll run away from it, and then
Yep.
they're just left with
Nothing.
empty-handed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I'm looking at all of the Reds' top prospects right now.
Noelve Marte.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is legit. Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah. He's their top one
Yeah.
for the rankings. Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
It was Ellie going into the season, and I guess after we traded for Marte, we actually got him from the Mariners in the Luis Castillo trade.
Mm,
So it sucked giving up Luis Castillo, but
right.
we knew we got somebody legit in return.
Yeah. No, I'm looking at all these prospect rankings from 2022 on MLB, and not too shabby.
We got a good farm, but again, it's always the same story with them. They have a good farm, and then it.
Okay,
just
but also
goes
tell
bad.
me why all of their I know farm positions change literally all the time, but like the top 5 are shortstops
Yeah.
or third baseman.
Yeah, so a lot of middle infielders on the team. Middle infielders, it's a position, and if you're athletic enough to play shortstop, second base, third base, you can move around. And some of these guys who are playing in the middle infield, they will definitely be seeing some spots in the outfield.
Mm.
Or if they are not able to perform at the level outside of their position that the Reds would like, it's future trade bait.
Yeah.
And they can pull off another nice trade maybe in the next year or two and
Hopefully.
go from there. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
We'll see.
I mean, and I'm like thinking also about they're very shallow bullpen, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
They were daunted with injuries this year, though, for sure.
Mm.
TJ Antone, guy's disgusting. And he literally didn't play at all this year. So
yeah.
injuries and just terrible ownership is just killing this fan base. And it's sad to watch. but-
Well, there's 3 pitchers in the top 10 of the prospects, at least.
Name them?
We've got Brandon Williamson,
Yep.
AAA.
Yep.
Chase Petty,
Ooh, he's going to be good.
Andrew Abbott, who's AA.
Okay.
Connor Phillips, AA. I'll keep going. Bryce Hubbard. He's an A.
I will also let you guys know I'm gonna give you about like 5 to 7 more minutes on
Okay.
sports.
What?
That way we can
Okay,
continue.
then we gotta go.
We got it. Yeah.
So
Tua.
next,
Tua.
Tua.
I don't want
Please
you
talk about
guys
Tua.
to like rush. We can always take more
Tua.
time if you need it, but I just want to make sure we have time for other segments as well. But this is a very fascinating baseball conversation. It's
Yeah.
very
Okay.
informative.
100%.
Well, we're gonna talk about Tua now. So, so yes, September 29th, the infamous date. Tua Tagovailoa suffered quite honestly a horrific injury. If you've seen the video, it's pretty chilling. He got a strong hit. I mean, insane hit, head injury. He entered what like professionals call a fencing response, where his arms became rigid and his fingers curled.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And he was out of it. I mean, and this is 4 days after he faced kind of like a similar head injury. It wasn't as severe, but he was cleared then to play this game. And now, I mean, that's and I think Adam was saying today that like the medical doctor that cleared him was fired.
He was definitely fired. Yeah. Because he was a neurologist.
Mhm.
But yeah, Tua sustained 2 head injuries, and then he got cleared after the first one. And they were on a short week. They didn't even get to play from Sunday to Sunday. They went from Sunday to Thursday.
Thursday,
So
yep.
they only had 4 days to get ready, and
Yep.
they put him out on that field knowing what would happen, but they didn't care, and
Yep.
they suffered the consequence. Now there are other doctors around the league that are I'm seeing this now online.
Yeah.
They're advising him that he should just retire.
No, yeah, because
Like-
there's people that I've got some stats here. Got some stats for us to look over here.
I'm so sorry, but the only like image that I have in my brain is that one girl in Stranger Things. You know what I'm talking about,
No,
Alexis. With the like the fingers curled and whatnot. I'm
Yes.
so sorry.
No, that's I mean like that's
Oh,
kind
are
of
you
the-
trying to show me a video, Adam?
I am, in fact.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna let you guys talk while Adam.
this was the first hit that he suffered, and when he got up from it, he was.
This is football. I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
this was
Yeah.
baseball. I was
No,
like,
no,
wait,
no.
how do you get like hit in the head with the ball? Okay, it's football. Okay.
Look at this. Look at him.
Oh my-
He literally, and then he just. Oh,
Oh.
No, yeah,
Oh, right.
he could yeah, he can't. He couldn't he was not there.
he was not there at all.
Oh no, that's not good.
And
That's
they
not
let
good
him
at
keep
all.
playing.
And so like this brings into question multiple things, and one of them is concussion protocol and concussion detection. And the other thing it brings into question is, I mean, his personal health and well-being, right? Like CTE, which is chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yep.
Say that 5 times fast.
That's a good one.
And I have here from the NFL that CTE has been found in the brains of more than 315 former NFL players, including 24 who have died in their 20s
my
and 30s.
God.
Yeah, it's bad. Did you see the documentary on Aaron Hernandez on Netflix?
Yes,
Insane.
yeah.
I mean,
And the thing is, I pulled some numbers from I have from back in 2015, and the trend shows that the numbers for like head injuries and concussions in the NFL is going down. But that retraces us back to the whole concussion protocol, concussion detection, right? Because like if this medical examiner or like doctor cleared somebody like Tua Tagovailoa after that,
it brings into question what protocols are actually in place.
right?
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of this one incident, but I remember I think it was a football player, but I'm not sure, where I believe he committed suicide.
Mhm. Yep.
Junior Seau.
Yes, and
Chargers.
didn't he leave a note where he's just like, there is something wrong with me.
Yep.
Please study my brain
It's so sad.
afterwards.
He donated his brain to science.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is so
Did
tragic.
they end up actually finding anything with him?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
What happened?
CTE.
CTE. Yeah. Yep.
It's the exact same thing we're talking about. And I mean, like, so like a family donated that brain, right, to see what happened. And that specific thing is exactly what we're talking about.
And since then, we've only seen it happen more and more and more. So,
Yeah.
you know, Joe Burrow actually.
I saw his comment.
Yeah, he was talking about how, like, you know what? If you're playing in today's football league, it's part of the game.
Well, and he
And-
also said that he's played like some halves after being hit in the head or having like basically concussive symptoms.
Yeah.
And he doesn't remember them.
Yeah.
Oh my, that's a problem.
Well, I mean,
Joey B.
Joe. I mean, I'm a Browns fan, but I love Joe Burrow.
Joe Burr.
But man, he knows what it's like to get hit. I mean,
Yeah,
he gets sacked a lot.
He's the Bengals quarterback.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, he made it to the Super Bowl last year, Jamie. After his rookie season, he got taken out with a
ACL.
blown out knee. Yep, ACL.
Oh my god.
And then he came back, and then in his second season in the NFL, he got sacked 70 times and still made it to the Super Bowl somehow, which is like it was literally the most times a quarterback has been sacked, but still led his team to the
you
big
have
game.
to like
Insane.
Turn things around.
Okay,
It's
also
insane.
we now that we're talking about the Bengals, yes or no to the white jerseys? I have a firm opinion that I think you might share.
I hope. Yeah, I was gonna say. I hope it's the same as mine.
They're fire.
Oh my gosh.
Those
Pa-
are cold. Those are so good.
You saw what they did to the field too, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, they painted the end zones, the midfield logo. That was so cool.
I chills thinking about it. I might be overreacting, but don't care.
I think it's the coolest uniform in the entire NFL now,
Oh, for sure. I mean, I get okay.
hands down.
I know the orange and black is iconic, right?
Sure.
Don't let that go. But use these white uniforms. Special. Just make them special ones.
I want to see them wear these in December when it's snowing
Oh my
on
gosh.
the field,
And they
just
get
it
lost. They look
all-
like
yeah,
a Bengal tiger.
literally. All you see is like little black stripes on the
Right.
snowy field.
That is so iconic.
That'd be intimidating.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, I may not be a fan of them, but you gotta acknowledge greatness when you see it. And whoever made
Over.
those uniforms is
Deserves the raise.
I'm worried that they would like get dirty. Like white is a hard color to clean. Like I'm a little like I did
Bestie.
costuming in high school theater. Like I know white. Like whoo,
Yeah.
that
Well,
makes me concerned. But that does sound really cool.
they're so
white.
cool. Adam, you got a picture up here?
yeah. So
Oh.
aren't those cool?
Oh yeah, that's cool. But again, I'm concerned for the dog. I'm concerned for whoever does the team laundry.
Well, a lot of teams, so they play on turf fields.
Okay.
A lot of them. So there's like not a whole lot of dirt involved, but I mean, regardless of what you play on, those jerseys get banged. I mean, I played football in high school. And I mean, like after games, I'd be so grossed out. I'd take my jersey off and I'd find like another man's blood on my jersey or something like that. I'm like, oh,
Like,
You're like, oh,
yeah.
you need some stain.
Yeah.
You need some shout.
Yeah, the team moms really put in overtime work
Yeah.
on our stuff. But yeah, I mean, and I mean, those teams have so much money. What they do
Yeah.
with those jerseys is they'll literally just have the player like sign them or something, and then
Yeah.
fans will go at auction and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to buy those jerseys.
I was gonna
And-
say, like,
and they just keep getting new ones.
I was gonna
every
say
game.
they probably get new ones for sure.
Yeah.
Especially white. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Can't
they
do that.
they can't reuse it. I mean, the Browns would probably definitely do that. Being a Browns fan,
The
I can see that.
Browns. Anyway.
Oh, gosh, life's hard being a Browns fan this year, more so than it ever has been in my entire life, and I've gone through
Really?
for sure. Yeah, I mean,
I can see that. Yeah.
our quarterback is very questionable, or
Yeah.
will be at least when he comes back. But
Oh yeah.
it's hard
when he comes back.
It's hard to support that. I mean, I bought a jersey that kind of makes fun of him.
Oh, good.
It said 24 cases on the back. Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna lose a little bit of passion towards them. when he
Well,
takes the
what
field.
surprises me is the people who are still like insane fans of him, first of all,
Yeah.
and fans of the Browns. Like, I get
Yeah.
if you support an organization, right? And if you've
Yeah.
been like a lifelong fan, whatever, right?
That's for me, for sure. I mean, just the fact that I've always been a fan of the
Well,
team.
but the people, for me as a woman and as a fan of sports, it is almost demeaning.
It is.
And that, a lot of like ESPN reporters are like, what kind of message does this send to all fans?
Yeah.
Especially your women and children too. I mean, you can't support, and I think it's kind of funny that like the Browns did not want to have to make a decision on this, right? And that's why they were so upset when that judge was
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I'm only giving so many games, and it
Yeah.
was not enough, and they wanted more, and they didn't want to put the hammer down on it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Once they overturned it and gave him 11 games, a bunch of Browns fans were like, "Oh, that's ridiculous. He shouldn't
Yeah.
have gotten that." I was saying he should have gotten more. I
Right.
mean,
I don't get that. That's
It's
that's why I
just-
was like, when
there's
you
no
when,
place for it.
the interviews, right? Like when he was still practicing outside of like this in the stadium, and he, this is over the summer, and they are having interviews with fans outside the stadium. I was absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
I was not expecting people to say like, "Oh yeah, I'm still supporting. I'm still, number one fan. He's my fave."
Yeah, I can't get behind it. I mean, there's just so many other good players on the team that I've always followed in their time at college, so I just can't see myself leaving them. But yeah, no, it's a very sticky situation. I think we're running out of time on the sports segment. Alexis, this was beyond fun, and this is definitely going to be in our future very, very soon. We're going to
Good.
get some long episodes doing this.
Yeah.
Jamie, what other good news do we have?
Okay, so for our next segment, like continuing on the theme of like more funky vibes. Today, I just discovered that AP, so the Associated Press News, they have a whole section. It's called Oddities, Odddities. Not too sure why I spelled that out, but I felt like that was necessary. Where they literally just have a bunch of stories that are about like wacky news. Like the first one on here is like leader of Belarus gifts Putin, so Vladimir Putin, Russia's president, a tractor for his 70th birthday. Which that's a little
We
interesting.
also there's a sports one. Is the next one?
Yes, college
one?
football at 49. North Dakota lineman has right stuff, which I thought was interesting. I would not want to be playing football at that old. I
Oh, no,
don't
absolutely
like
not.
your joints. Like
Wait, how
probably-
old?
49.
Oh my
Listen,
goodness.
This is like the lead. It says when North Dakota State College of Science suffered a heartbreaking loss in early September, foiled at the goal line as time expired in a jolt to their national championship ambitions. It was a backup defensive lineman who stepped forward with a pep talk to lift the locker room. That's like a sports movie. Like that's a cliche.
It's
like
gonna say like
we
I
need the old time guy to like bring us up.
I
you
want
know.
a Netflix documentary on
Yes,
this.
I-
Like put this stuff
Wait.
on Disney Plus.
Let's see. Okay, let's see what this person's name is because if they have a good sports name, you're good to go. Okay, I'm trying to find it here. Oh. Okay, I see the last name. Where's the first one? 49-year-old Ray Russell.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Ray Russell.
It's giving Herschel Walker.
It's giving. Let's make a documentary on this and sell it to Disney.
Like my knees hurt if I go up the stairs wrong. I don't know.
Right?
how-
My 20-year-old body is already kind of declining.
It's like I have a chronic illness, multiple disabilities. For those that don't know, like I make one wrong move and like my back is cracked. Like 49 years old. Goodness.
Yeah, I have the left knee of an old man. After my senior
Yeah.
year, I blew my entire knee out. I tore my ACL, my MCL, part of my meniscus. It was
Ooh,
terrible.
that's
terrible.
Playing
terrible.
football?
Football, yep, senior homecoming game.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
I was
wait.
on homecoming court too, so the next night I was out there crutching my way
Oh
across
my
the court.
God, no.
Oh, that's so bad.
Wait, I have one. Pulled up right here, and we talked about Hurricane Ian before. Do you guys want to hear something a little bit uplifting about it?
Yes. Is it about the parrots?
Yes, it's about the parrots.
Or
Oh,
the
gee,
washed
yes.
away licenses.
Talk about the parrots.
Listen to the parrots. So here's what
Okay.
it is. Rescuers flock together. Get it?
Beautiful.
Love. To save 275 parrots stranded by
Aw.
Ian. Will Paratino and his partner Lauren Stepp would not leave their Pine Island compound, even as authorities pleaded with residents to abandon their homes because of damaged roads, including a collapsing bridge that prevented deliveries of food, gas, and other life-sustaining supplies. These people literally risk their lives to
For the
save
parrots?
parrots.
So are these like pet store parrots? Or are they, like-
Operation Noah's Ark.
Oh my gosh, Evan
were they,
Almighty.
Were they like pets?
So
or-
listen, the couple could not leave without their 2 lemurs and flock of birds.
Flock of birds. Okay.
275 parrots, including some of the rarest in the world. They said,
Wow.
we would not abandon them. I would never leave them. Never.
I don't know.
That is dedication. That is dedication.
Like my family has 2 birds that like I can barely handle. I don't know how you handle almost 300 of them.
Does it specify if those birds were like locked in cages inside the houses? Like,
Okay,
'Cause, I
let me
mean-
see here.
I'm wondering if they may have been free range. Like, if there would have been a slight possibility they would have maybe survived. If
I mean, like, can't birds also like fly away? But I guess if they're like domesticated, they're gonna like rely on like the food and whatnot. And if they're like really, really rare, that's also a thing. Because you know, if they're
So it says, Step said, volunteers worked on collecting the flock from dozens of coops at the Malama Manu Sanctuary. And
Okay.
so
It's a s-
Malama is Hawaiian for protect, and Manu means bird. So
Wow.
bird protect,
that is honestly so
Aw.
heartwarming.
isn't it?
yeah, I want to cuddle my dog now
So
after hearing that one.
heartwarming.
It's been a long day here in the studio.
I have another animal related story also from the AP oddities section. It gives me a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions with this one. Here, I'll read it out. Man charged with smuggling pythons in his pants, okay, at U.S. border. Okay, Adam is absolutely losing it in the studio right now. For those of you just listening and not on our YouTube page. So, this was in Albany, New York. A New York City man has been charged with smuggling 3, okay, so not 1, but 3 Burmese pythons in his pants at a U.S.-Canadian border crossing. Calvin Bustina, I'm probably pronouncing that so wrong, I'm so sorry, 36, is accused of bringing the hidden snakes on a bus that crossed into northern New York on July 15th, 2018. Importation of Burmese pythons is regulated by an international treaty and by federal regulations listing them as injurious to human beings.
Okay.
Bustine of Queens was arraigned Tuesday in Albany on the federal smuggling charge and released pending trial, according to a news release from the Office of U.S. Attorney Carla B. Friedman. An email seeking comment was sent to Bustina's lawyer. The charge carries the potential for a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a fine as high as $250,000, according to federal prosecutors.
Okay. I have multiple
So
things
many
with this.
questions. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to the zoo or like put
Oh,
up
yeah.
a picture like of a Burmese python or really any python. They're huge.
I looked up I know this is the largest, and I'm assuming this person is not smuggling it. It's 215 pounds, 18 feet long.
Right? Like how big are your pants? So like how would you?
Okay, my biggest question. Okay,
Yeah,
the,
like
the,
were
the
they
elephant,
small?
the python in the room.
The python in
is-
the room.
Why?
Yeah, like why?
Why are you Okay, were
Like,
they pets?
how do
were
you-
they?
How do you get to the point in your life that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna smuggle not 1 but 3 giant, poisonous, dangerous snakes in my pants? Like that's the thing. Like I would have like thought of like a backpack at least, but like
Do we know how he got caught?
yeah, that's another thing. The story does not say like how he got caught.
See, like, I can only imagine, like, it was just some old lady sitting next to him on a bus, and then she just, like, looks over and just sees some snake slithering
like-
its way out of this guy's pants. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. That
Like,
is...
And like,
what would be going through your head if you were just like
Oh
sitting
my
next
gosh.
to someone?
I would run. Snakes are one of my biggest fears.
Oh, really? I love
Yes,
snakes. Okay,
really.
they're my favorite
Oh.
animals.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're cool.
Yeah.
I'll never shy away from saying that, but like,
Oh.
ugh,
I'm
just,
okay. I'm
like,
good.
Holding
it's-
that, yeah,
yeah.
nope.
and it's so funny to me is because like pythons in Florida are an invasive species
Mhm.
and they're like everywhere. So if you wanted to go
Ugh.
and like they're actually encouraged to like get rid of the pythons down there because they became invasive because people released them when they were originally pets. So if you wanted to get a python, you could probably just snatch one from Florida.
Yeah,
Just
I
from
wonder
Florida.
because he was smuggling them.
Like
from
over
the US
state.
Yeah, so he was smuggling them from the New York
From to Canada.
from New York to Canada. So I'm like wondering where he got him. Maybe he got them like from
Wait.
Florida or something.
Okay. Yeah. Did he get them all the way from Florida
I
to
don't
New
know.
York, and then at Canada they're like, gotta stop it.
You just got wiggly legs.
It does not say.
We-
It does not say. But I'm like, what in the absolute Slytherin is this?
Yeah.
We need to do more research on this at some
Yeah,
point.
I know.
Can
I'm
we,
like,
yeah.
I
This
need
is-
more info.
You could like listen. If somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, if you don't put these 3 pythons in your pants, you're going to prison for 20 years," like, I would go to prison. I would go to prison.
Well, that's
and this
the thing,
guy went
he's-
to prison for
yeah.
willingly doing it. Like, what?
Yeah.
Where is your head, bro? Like,
I'm
Yeah.
confused.
do some
I would
diving.
be
So
easier to
confused.
smuggle drugs and it'd probably carry a lesser charge.
maybe he played football too and got a couple concussions. Who
Oh,
knows?
yeah. I mean, you never know.
CTE.
Also, like, how would you how would you feed them?
And all okay, but like,
Rats.
No,
if
but
he's
like,
in New York,
Yeah, if he's in New
Those
York,
New York
just feed
rats?
him some.
Let's go down an alley here, buddy.
just like
You'll be good for the next 3 weeks after this little trip. Oh my goodness.
pull down your pants, be
Dude.
like
Let
3
the
heads come
pythons-
out, and like
Nightmares.
nightmare. And, like, talk about snakes on a plane, snakes on a bus.
Okay, wait. Also, yeah, like, didn't you say this was in 2018?
This was so he was caught in 2018 and he was just arraigned on
Okay.
Tuesday.
Oh wow.
So
I was
it-
gonna say,
it
like,
took
what was this
them-
4-year process?
Yeah, like, so it took him because it's a federal charge. So it's a federal, like, this is a federal case. Like, he's
Yeah.
facing federal prison.
1 year for the guy and 3 more years for each python.
Oh my god, wait, that's right. That's probably like the actual legal term.
Right.
It's like, that's probably what the court was like, wait, okay. This is the statute.
I just imagine, like, the person, like, at the prosecutor's office in New York, like, having to write up that press release and, like, those court
Right.
documents. Like, if I got that on my desk, I think I would, like, I don't know what I would do.
I think it would make my
honestly.
day.
Right? I would, like, it's bad, but it's, like, hilarious.
Do you have any other fun oddity stories to tell us?
That one was really good.
That one's fun.
I'm trying to see if there's, like, any more, like, funny ones like that.
Wait, guys.
Do you have
I
one?
found one.
Okay.
About an animal again.
Okay.
This is the title. Heard the news?
Mm.
Wild boar piglet adopted by cows.
Oh my
I
god.
think I saw that. What's it?
That's
A
adorable.
cow herd in Germany has gained an
Mhm.
unlikely following after adopting a lone wild boar piglet. Farmer Frederick Staple told the DPA news agency that he spotted the piglet among the herd in the central German community of Brevard about 3 weeks ago. That is the cutest.
Do
That
we
is
have
so
pictures?
cute.
Okay,
Should
I
be
have
on,
a
like,
picture.
birthday card.
Here's a picture. I know. Okay, wait. Actually, I could hold it up to my camera. Can I not?
Yeah, show it to the camera. Show it to the
Oh my
audience.
God.
Yeah, we want to see this.
That's the AP news.
Oh, that is so cute.
That's the AP news. The little piglet.
Dude, that little piglet is so much smaller than
I
those
know. I
freaking
feel like it
cows.
could get crushed, but it's not. Oh my gosh, the boar's name is Frida.
Frida.
Frida has
Yeah.
been lovingly named. To leave it alone now would be unfair, a local hunter told AP. Oh, in winter, the farmer that I mentioned earlier, they plan to put it in the shed with mother cows in the winter.
That is so adorable. Y'all, I loved this section so much. It warmed my soul because animals are just so cute and we stand a good animal story. I definitely like if you want some lighthearted news, go to AP Oddities page. It's adorable and like it's actually accurate, so you don't have to question like, is this fake? With the last 20 minutes remaining in our segment, I want to talk about campus and talk about campus news, talk about what we've been covering, also talk about fall
Great.
events in the Dayton area and talk about fall activities. And it's spooky season, okay? We just finished the first
Yes.
full week of October. I love Halloween so much. In
Yes.
fact, at
Me
the
too.
Guardian, we just finished decorating our office for Halloween. We had a whole party for it. So if you're on campus and want to see a spooky office, 015 Student Union, that's the right state Guardian.
Come visit us.
Come visit us. We have it's very, very adorable.
We might write an article about use of fair warning, but you're more than welcome to come to our office.
Yeah, come say hi. We love friends and visitors.
Mhm.
But so yeah, let's talk about campus, talk about what you guys been working on, and talk about fall, talk about Halloween. I know there's still quite a bit of sidewalk and road construction going on campus.
Yeah.
They said they would be
Whack.
finished by, I know at one point they had a timeline of being done by October 1st, but I don't think that happened because they're still working on things. And it's been interesting to see like students and White State community members like go about the construction. And I saw
Yeah.
a Barstool Raiders post of someone stealing a brick
The
of
professor.
concrete from the construction site. I that was just hilarious.
Did you
I'm
see
like,
What?
A professor stole a construction barrel. A professor walked out of
I
the
thought it
union,
was a brick of concrete, not a construction barrel.
or okay, a brick of here.
Yeah.
We're,
Okay.
we're gonna look this up.
Yeah, pull up the Barstool latest post. It's
regardless,
hilarious.
it was claimed on the page that it was a professor. So
Okay.
it was a cement block. Yeah,
Yeah.
she stole the cement block.
Just completely yeeted. Like, oh, you're coming home with me.
Wait. Is that like
This was this week.
This was this week outside of the student union. So
memorabilia?
yeah,
A souvenir?
souvenir, little souvenir. Take one home.
I see. Okay,
It's for
my
the
thing.
it's for the bad students who just for
Put that up in the front of this. and,
anybody who
right-
doesn't turn in their work gets the
Yeah.
block.
The only logic behind this that I can think of is she may have retired and she wanted a piece of right
Yeah.
estate to go with her forever.
That would be kind of sweet though.
They do that. Like a lot of my teachers, when they rebuilt my high school, they gave a brick to
Mhm.
every person
if
that
it was
worked
a
there.
removed brick, then I understand.
But
Yeah.
but the thing is, yeah, she just kind of walked by and stole some cement. Like that's a little different than getting like a memorabilia brick.
Yeah, but like she didn't ask. She just like, that's a
Mine.
nice brick.
Yeah, like I kind of want to step into that professor's shoes at that exact moment and
Imagine
like feel that power.
Yeah,
That feels
that's
like
a power move.
that takes some guts, like, and confidence.
Imagine getting a PhD and then
Stealing a
possibly getting
cement.
in trouble for stealing a brick.
I would do anything to be one of the students in her class that saw the video and then went to class the next session. And I mean, I would have brought it up because
So-
no limit.
Oh, about that brick.
Tell me about this brick. What's up with it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something else. I tell you.
That caught me off guard.
Yeah.
I really wasn't. See, when you mentioned construction, I wasn't thinking about a professor stealing a brick. I was just thinking about
All
what
the
are they doing now?
detours.
Yeah, and like what? Because like they were pretty good about updating it, and now I'm like,
Yeah.
what is happening?
It sucks. I mean, the worst part is like obviously in Ohio with all the snow and all the salt that is put down for the weather, like it's second nature. We're gonna always have to get construction done before
Yeah.
the winter months because the roadways, the sidewalks cannot handle too much salt before being completely destroyed. So
Yeah.
it's just part of life here in the good old
Yeah, I mean-
Midwest.
I mean, it's especially needed like out front in the student of the very front of the front entrance of the student union was pretty rough.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I was
don't know. I
thinking
like it.
about like since we have so many like we pride ourselves on being like a place for people with mobility issues and those who use mobility aids, and if there's like random bricks missing
right.
and like cracked bricks, that's not gonna be good for a lot of people.
I know Trey Brown, who is our news editor, wrote an article on the whole construction situation on campus. It is on our WSU Guardian website. And I know, focused mostly on when there was construction between Hamilton Hall, which is the only accessible dorm here on campus, and the student union. And people, as you were saying, like with mobility aids trying to navigate that. That was definitely like really, really difficult and like really interesting to see people like how they navigate. So like I definitely hope that they can finish up soon so that, people who have those concerns can, continue.
Yeah.
Can you hear any of that construction outside of Hamilton?
I can hear a little bit. I mostly hear the trucks, but so I'm on Hamilton Hall South. Wow, I just saying where I live out on live radio.
Don't put your room number or floor. You're good.
Just don't say yeah.
So I face the student union. So yeah, I mostly hear the trucks, but not like the actual construction.
Gotcha. Well, and
I also, speaking about interesting topics going on campus, another article and video that we did, and another topic that I know students have been talking a lot about is parking.
can I please talk about some parking things?
Yes. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Also,
I-
note that this is personal opinion, okay?
Yes.
This does not represent the White State Guardian journalism or WWSU 106.9. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, yeah, parking.
It's been an issue here for so many years.
And the thing is, right? It's the number, the whole 80% commuter number has been thrown around the most this year.
Sure.
Yet again, personal statement,
Statement as a student, we'll say.
yes,
Not as a journalist.
is that, um, if that's like the population that you're catering to, or the population that you're serving, or if those are your customers, they are looking for what works best for them. And the amount of voices that I have heard that say this does not work for me is alarming.
We need to do I mean, I don't know. It was already bad enough before they added the Raider spots, and this is again our own opinion. Faculty had their yellow spots, students had their white spots, and then you find your spot. But now with those Rowdy Raider spots, like there's so many of them unoccupied that now faculty and students are having to compete against one another to get any spot, and it's not fun. And I mean I commute. I know obviously Jamie doesn't. Do you commute?
Well,
Alexis?
I that's another thing, is that I have not bought a parking pass because they're so expensive. And I
Don't blame
I
you.
live close to campus. I live close enough that I can walk. I'm not gonna say where.
Good.
But I can walk to campus, thankfully. But it's a long walk.
You're not walking home tonight from here, are you?
No,
Okay, I was gonna say if you need
because
a ride. I got you.
but like the thing is though, I mean, after, if I attend some sort of meeting at night, and if I don't want, or if I don't plan to leave here before nighttime, but then I eventually stay here past nighttime, and it's dark, then I gotta walk home, because they that is so much money.
I also know what was really shocking to me. So SGA held a meeting in an open forum for students to come and talk about this issue, and they had Lieutenant Holden, Chief of Police at WSU, come to this meeting and talk about it. And he mentioned how a lot of students park at like the restaurants across the street and like the Maya
Yeah.
parking lot during the day because they don't want to purchase the parking passes. And I know students who are like, oh yeah, I do that because I don't have money to purchase a parking pass, on top of $4 a gallon gas prices and everything else.
Books, tuition.
So,
food,
books,
it's a lot.
tuition, apartments, all that, in this economy. So I just thought that was like really interesting, and I'm really curious to see, if anything changes, or, how they're gonna address this like going forward. I also remember being at the faculty senate meeting, and how faculty were raising like a lot of concerns, and like how like age and like mobility were definitely a concern with some of the faculty who are having to park a bit farther away because again, well, they don't have access to purchasing the Rowdy Raider passes now, but even when they do get access to purchasing the Rowdy Raider passes, they express that they, might not want to do that, but they don't even have access now. So they're hiking it to the buildings no matter what at this moment. I know like age and mobility were concerned. So I'm definitely really curious to see how this moves forward, how they continue to address the concerns. It'd also be really interesting to see like hear from like people who are like really into the parking passes and like who really love the new system, because I haven't heard too much of that lately. So I definitely want to track down at some point some students who are like really into it.
Well, here it is. I mean, I'm sure there are some students here whose parents,
Yeah.
kindly forked out the $400 for them to park within the first couple rows of any building they want. But my biggest question surrounding this whole thing is, again, we live in the Midwest. It snows. So when we get 3 to 4 inches of snow this winter,
Yep.
and all the spots are covered in snow, how are we able to differentiate them? I mean,
That is so true. I'd never thought about that, but that is so true. And like the salt.
yeah. I thought, I figured they would probably convert to actual like signs, like a handicap like sign, only like a Raider spot sign in the winter months, which would not surprise me at all.
You
but
know what I'm just realizing too? I'm just now realizing. Oh no, never mind. I'm taking it back. I did not realize that. I was like, they took away like accessibility parking spots for these rowdy, but then I was like, wait a second, no, they didn't. But
No,
my
because that would be illegal.
right,
So they
I was
always have
like,
to have accessible
I
parking
was like,
spots.
why is that? But the thing that okay, that's a good. That is so valid.
I
if
never thought about that.
snow,
It
salt,
snows here a lot. I mean, even well into the spring semester.
and are
we're
they
gonna
gonna
get it.
like? Will they even salt? Like, or are we gonna have to be like slipping and sliding, ice skating here?
Yeah.
But the thing that I've questioned is the comparison to UD and Ohio State and these either private or huge institutions
Sure.
that have an insane amount of students that are on a private like basis.
Mm-hmm.
And now our prices for a public institution are comparable to those. How
And they have garages. They have
and-
parking garages that they can use. We don't have
And
one.
and I find it really like I mentioned to you this before, how Wright State is always marketing itself and branding itself as the affordable public Ohio university.
right.
And meanwhile, they're doing a tier system where it's basically rewarding you for having more money. And if you have more money, you get more privilege. And it goes exactly against their whole affordability practices. And also, like, I've heard, like, some people saying, like, oh, if you want a good parking spot, just come there earlier. But often, on Thursdays, I have 3 classes back to back. And when I'm going, I have 10 minutes between classes, and if I'm in my car and I need to get to class, and I'm forced to, I have a regular parking pass, but I'm sometimes forced to park in one of those spaces and risk like getting like a ticket or something because like there's no other choice for me.
Yeah. And so with these last couple of minutes, I thought it was really cool that we kind of have like a little opt-ed situation in session there because I feel like people are always asking us like our opinions, and as journalists we can't give opinions, but because I prefaced there that these are opinions, we were able to turn it into a little bit of an opt-ed sesh verbally. We only have about 6 minutes here, so I if there's any final thoughts or topics, I definitely want you guys to air those, and so that we can get these last couple minutes to talk about those. If not, I want to finish off on a very positive topic and talk about fall and Halloween and fall activities. But before I move to that, is there any final topics that you guys are like, I just need to get this out on the waves?
No, I really want to talk about fun fall things.
Okay,
Yes.
so fun fall things. Recently, Elena Stortz, who is one of our Right Life writers, did a Dayton's Not Dead Piper Orchards, which is this family-owned business from like Wright State alumni in Yellow Springs. That is an apple orchard, and the photos. Definitely go to our website, check out our Guardian gallery on this, because the photos by Monica Bruto, who's one of our photographers, is absolutely amazing. Like, they look like stock images.
They are
And
so good.
There are so many, like good fun fall things to do in and around the Dayton area. We have an article on it by Savannah Harris. We have the article from Elena Stortz on the Piper Orchards. But I'm so excited for fall and for Halloween. So
Yes.
yeah, we have
Yeah, we have till 8:57. We have the K Dean Vibe Show coming on
up
live at
next.
9 next. Yeah, so
So-
that'll be the topper for College Radio Day today.
I had so much fun with you guys this evening. I loved all the topics that we got to cover. I hope you guys had fun too. Thank you to WWSU
Yes.
for having us on. They're doing amazing, absolutely amazing on the College Radio Day. 24 hours of straight live. That is insane. And they did such an amazing job. So
Yes.
shout out to our fellow media group here on campus. Again, you can always listen to them on the radio. And again, as I said before, you can always find us at I almost said WWSU, WSUGuardian.com, and on our socials at WSU Guardian on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're there. Come find us. But again, it was so good to talk with all of you tonight and to
Yes.
cover these topics.
Yeah.
Final thoughts before we head out tonight.
We're doing this again.
As we
Okay.
should. It's my
Yes.
first time on the radio, and I loved it.
We're
You
doing it
killed
again.
it.
Good.
Alrighty, guys. Well, with that, we are now going to get set for our final show of this jam-packed day on World College Radio Day. Emily, say your name.
Alexis.
Emily.
Jamie.